Welcome to another live stream from the Lamppost Coffee Shop. How's it going? My name is Mitch. I'm coming to you live. I feel like I'm alive anyway, and it's Tuesday, January the 13th. This is our, how many? I'm not sure how many. This is number 56, 57 of our live streams. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't really matter because we're just hanging out, having coffee. I just wanted to briefly stop in and say hello and welcome you to my YouTube channel at Even Rabbits. And if you're with us for the first time, welcome. Feel free to jump into chat. And I'm going low style today. I don't have my monitor, I don't have my lights, I don't have my fancy microphone stand. I'm just sort of winging it because we're having one of those busy days, and I still wanted to fulfill my commitment to coming to you live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so I wanted to make sure that if you're with us, that you feel welcome and that you're certainly welcome to get into chat. And I'll keep an eye on it, see if anybody pops in. And we talk social media, we talk YouTube, we talk all things about setting them up. So, you know, we talk about where's my brain at. Let me reboot here. What we're dealing with is social media, and when you go live, you know, you can run into all kinds of weird stuff, and I'm running into it today. I'm having all kinds of brain hiccups right now, so bear with me. And we're doing the best we can because I came in and it's been a busy day, and I just flew in and sat down and turned on the old OBS and just started streaming. So I really haven't done a whole lot of prep work, as you can tell, but it really doesn't take a lot of prep work to do a live stream. That's what's good about it. You just jump in, and here's my iPhone camera. You can see the coffee shop. Not much going on. Kind of quiet, which is good. It's so cold outside that I think most people are staying home or staying inside or finding a coffee shop to hang out in like me. So we're in the midst of a cold front. In fact, most of the nation is under a cold front the next few days. From what I can tell, there's going to be a lot of snow. Well, what are we going to talk about today? We're talking about social media, we talk about YouTube, and I have been busy on my YouTube channels trying to get content made and do a lot of editing. And I do a daily video on my channel, Mitch in his van, and that takes up time, takes up some effort. I'm committed to posting every day there for this entire year as I transition into living in a van and traveling and coming to you live from various places around the country. So that's the plan anyway. So as this live stream develops over time, we're going to be moving around the country, and I'll be coming to you from various locations depending on where we are, and that's going to be coming up in the new year. We hope. That's our plan anyway. And what I wanted to share with you today, just to give you some value for the day, is I came across a YouTube video this morning, and I wanted to share the contents with you because it's from a fellow named Kitching. Oh goodness, what's his first name? Sean. I never can remember his name. Sean Kitching. Sean has a great channel. He mainly does photography and videos and shoots interesting cinematic videos and photography, and he has a lot of how-to videos on how to videotape yourself and videotape in a cinematic way, and to do really fine looking videos. And I was watching him this morning, and he did sort of a personal video this morning, and he talked about the current new era that we're in terms of YouTube, and how YouTube has evolved over time. And he thinks there's been 3 specific eras, and so I thought we would go into that today. And what I did was I took his video content and ran over to Notebook LLM in Google. That's Google's Notebook LLM, and I had it transcribe his video and then give me a brief synopsis. And I just thought we would briefly go through it, because it really was an interesting take. It was an interesting observation. He thinks we're in a new era starting in 2026, and he calls it the era of perspective. The era of perspective. He said the first era of YouTube was the era of information, where basically you would go on YouTube, and if you had a question or needed some help on how to do something, you would go on YouTube and just look up a video. You know, if you wanted to change out your toilet, find a plumber on YouTube to help you do that. If you want to learn how to change the oil in an old 57 Chevy, well, go on YouTube and you can find it. And it was all about information. And he said that being right, having the right kind of information was good enough back then. All you really need was to come across as an authority, a source of knowledge, and you were okay. And he said the era of information began to fade as the sheer volume of content went up. And when you found so much competition and so many ways to find answers of questions, it was hard to compete with others. I mean, you go in there and search for plumbers back in 10 years ago. You go to YouTube and search for plumbers, and they were all over the place, and they still are today. And you know, some of this is still taking place today. So nothing has really changed in terms of these eras. It's just that a new emphasis has come. And then he said the second era was the era of entertainment. And this is where we have Mr. Beast and those big YouTubers come on the scene and turn YouTube into a source of information. The core value was attention. And of course, Mr. Beast is the king of attention and retention. And so it was all about big audiences, big entertainment. Creators either infused their information with content or went solely into entertainment. So they began to make it fun to watch their videos as they began to provide information. Mr. Beast is cited as the perfect example of the creator in this era of entertainment. And he says, Sean says that the limitation was this model became increasingly difficult to compete in, and plus people were getting numb. You know, you can only take so much hype. You can only take so much excitement. You watch a couple of videos of Mr. Beast and you're already wore out. So I can understand what he's talking about there. And so that's what he was talking about in terms of the entertainment era. We started off with information 10, 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Let's see, YouTube began in 2006. They just celebrated their 20th anniversary. And so you go back 15 years and it was primarily entertainment. I mean, primarily information. And then Mr. Beast came along about a decade ago, 10, 12 years ago, and the entertainment era took off. Well, Sean says now we're in a new era, and he calls it the era of perspective. And it's where creators are representing a synthesis and evolution beyond the previous two, and they prioritize authentic connection over pure information. So it's about authenticity. It's about connecting with a core audience that ties in to you as a person, ties into your personality. The central value is the creator's unique perspective and process. So that's why, I'm unique in wearing my hat today. I don't look necessarily dressed real fancy today. I've got an old hoodie on, and I'm wearing my knit cap, and it's about being real. It's about approaching the creation in terms of a perspective rather than descriptive. Instead of me providing you information, I'm hopefully going to give you some perspective on how I see things and give you my unique perspective of what I believe is going on, instead of just giving out raw information. It's about audience connection. It fosters a direct connection between the viewer and the creator, and that's the era we're in. And I got to tell you, I'm excited if what he says is true, because what that does is it shifts the necessity to be a teacher and to have all of the information, and it becomes more about showing rather than teaching. I'm no longer required to be an expert in social media. I can come on here and we can discuss things. We can talk about things. We can show examples. We can get into chat and have feedback and have conversation. And so I no longer have to worry about being the perfect creator. I don't have to be the expert. I don't have to be professional in that sense. It's more about trying to connect with you in my audience. So it's authenticity over authority, which means there's a lower barrier to entry. That's why most of you need to get back on YouTube. If you've left it, or you're thinking about getting a channel and starting on YouTube, you need to start now. This is the prime era to be in, because most of us are not entertainers. Most of us are not comedians or musicians or like Mr. Beast, some sort of a personality. We're probably not experts in any one particular thing. We may be, but that's not where it's at. Today it's about your unique perspective, letting us know what you think in terms of a particular topic. So it's quality over quantity. A smaller, highly engaged audience that cares about your perspective is what you're after. And so instead of shooting high and looking for 1 million subs or 1 million views on your videos, what you're looking for is a more highly engaged audience and perhaps a fewer number. It would be better to have 500 people who are loyal and committed and engaged in your content than to have 5,000 who just fly by you like you're on TikTok. So you're looking for some depth here. You're looking for some viewers who are actually engaged in what you're talking about. A creator's stated preference. I would rather speak to 5,000 people that rarely cared about what I think and the things that I do and how I share them than 1 million people that just want quick tips or answer questions. The real impact, the deep connection, allows creators to make a real impact. And so somehow we need to get away from this idea. We need to get away from this idea that we want to reach 1 million people and impact the world by having millions and millions of views. The question ought to be, what can I do to help one person? I mean, if you're watching me now, if you're watching this video either now or 6 months from now, what is it that I can do to help you? what is it that you can do to help me make it a two-way street here? Let's think about in terms of helping specific people with specific problems. Find one issue or one person that we can help and not worry about reaching millions. And I think that's what's going to be positive about this entire new era, if in fact we are in a new era. So I was really interested in seeing that, and I think Sean has hit on something here. So we've got these three eras: the era of information, the era of entertainment, and the era of perspective. And I commented, I wrote Sean and said, well, you know, this might be a good framework for any video. For any video we produce, let's have some useful information. Let's do it in some sort of an entertaining way by giving our perspective on it. Let's try to include all three of those things in some form or fashion. And I think the most successful videos and the most successful creators out there are probably in some way doing all of these things. They're providing information, they're doing it in an entertaining way, and they're showing some sort of a unique perspective that makes it personal to them, and it helps their audience become engaged with them personally. So that's what I have for you today. So any comments, let me know. If you have any questions, hop into chat and let me know. If you're watching this down the road 6 months from now, you can always leave a comment. I'll be here. I'm not going anywhere. So in terms of updates on my own information, I've got let's see, what have I got? I've actually got 5 channels set up, ready to go. 3 of them are ones that I'm really concentrating on. I've got Even Rabbits, which is this channel devoted primarily to social media and YouTube. And then I've got another channel called Mitch in His Van, which is going to document my journey as I transition into life on a van as I travel around the country. And we'll be creating content for YouTube from the road, and I'll be doing live streams from various locations around the country. And I'll also be creating art, since I am a fine artist and I'm trained as a fine artist. I'll get back to painting and drawing as I go along, and I'll also be publishing some books, which I've been doing on Amazon. I've got over 50 books published on Amazon, and I'll be continuing to do that. So the only difference is I'll be doing it from the road, and I think that'll be much more fun, much more exciting than being stuck in one spot. So that's my plans for the next 2 years at least, probably 2026, 2027, as I move forward. So that's the plan. Well, let me know what you think in comments, and I guess that's probably about all I've got to share today. That's about 20 minutes I've been here. So what I'll do next, what I usually do, is I'll take this live stream and go into Premiere Pro and do some editing and cut it down into a regular video that will be available. So if you missed the live stream, you can always check my channel and it'll be there as a regular video. So we hope you have a good day today. Stay out of the snow, stay off the ice, don't get too wet, stay warm, and we will see you Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, for another chat. All right, go out and have a good day. We'll